Welcome and thank you for visiting today. My name is John Mazzara with Remax Results. I have a special guest today at the show. It's Matt Berna with Trustone Mortgage. And Matt and I just had a transaction, and I thought it was very important that he come on and share some of the special things that Trustone has that other lenders or brokers don't offer. And I had a very pleasant experience, and so did my client. So they had purchased a home in Maple Grove. They have another home that will be selling in Buffalo, and so they had to bridge between those two properties. And I'm going to let Matt tell you all about it and how he coordinated it with his bank. So with that, Matt Berna with Trustone.
Thank you, John. Good morning. I appreciate you having me on to talk. And you're right, it was a very smooth transaction. I'm glad that we were able to connect and make a very successful transaction for our buyers. But you bring up a good point. There's some options that TrueStone has that are available to us since we're a depository that are really unique and can make things a little bit easier for the buyers, especially in the aspect when someone owns one home and they don't want to sell that ahead of time. So what we utilize for these buyers is something called a bridge loan. What it does is it helps bridge the gap from before you sell the home to buying your new home. And what it is essentially is tapping into the equity that buyer has in their current home. So for this instance that we had, the buyers had a lot of equity in that home. They didn't want to sell ahead of time, so they'd have to line closing dates up in the same day, or have their whole life packed in a couple boxes for a day, then move at the same time. So they tapped into the equity, they borrowed against it, they used it for the purchase of their new home. Now, when they list the home and it sells, they'll pay the bridge off, and the bridge loan goes away, the old home goes away, and they are all set into their new home.
Awesome. And one of the really nice things about that was because they used their down payment, they can do a recast if they want or not, but they don't have to because they've already got their equity essentially that they put down. And you were able to get them better pricing and no MI. There was no need to refi because they already had their down payment as part of that process. One of the things that I really enjoyed is that I worked with one location, meaning Trustone. I didn't have to work with a secondary bank, coordinating with your bank and different sets of underwriters. It was all packaged. So I think that's really unique. And you have high loan to values on products like this. So can you explain the second mortgage a little more, how that bridge, how somebody would walk into your bank and say, I want a house, I want to buy a house, I'm comfortable owning two homes at one time. What do I do next?
Definitely. And you're right, that's one of the big things is being able to handle it all at one point. So with TrueStone, we can handle your primary mortgage, a second mortgage if it's a HELOC or a bridge. We also have other options like credit cards, auto loans, auto depository, and assets that we have too. So it's really nice to be able to do everything under one roof, and it makes it a lot easier for the buyers with dealing with one person, and also for the agent, so they can kind of know what one person's handling everything. But the bridge loan is pretty unique because it is available on different property types. As long as that borrower can qualify for the payments at the same time, they can tap into the equity of primary home. If it's a second home, they can do that as well. And essentially just pulling that money out and using it. And you know what? You talk about a recast or refinance. If someone has enough equity in their house, they can go up to 80% loan to value of their primary home with the bridge and use that to bring funds to the table for their new purchase. So instead of putting a minimal amount down, and then after they sell, they have all this excess of cash they want to bring, and they can do that with a refinance or recast. The bridge enables them to bring that up front, so they're not getting mortgage insurance up front. They're doing a sizable down payment, which makes them a little bit more comfortable with that payment for the long term.
Awesome. No, Matt, what if somebody has an investment property? We didn't talk about that, but if they had an investment property, can they get a line of credit against that? Or is it just a refi or something like that?
They can. So there are options for people with investment properties. It is a little bit more restricted. You're not going to be able to borrow as much, but we do have options for people on investment properties. The big thing with TrueStone is it needs to be in one of the states that we're domiciled. So right now we can lend in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Florida. So it's nice
Okay.
for our people right around the cities. We have the two states covered. And then for the snowbirds, we have stuff in Arizona and Florida. So it's pretty nice for the members that we have.
Outstanding. Is there a minimum or maximum loan size on that bridge or on your loans?
The minimum is $10,000. The maximum kind of depends on the property type. So if it's a primary residence, you go up to 80% of the value of the equity of the home.
Okay.
Investments and second properties have a little bit more of kind of restricted, not restricted, but set guidelines. So it really depends on that borrower's specific scenario for different property types.
Okay, well, that's really good to know because a lot of people can't get loans on investment properties. It's very difficult, or the pricing is very difficult. But you're saying that they could actually do a line of credit against it. Is that correct? Or is
Correct.
it? Yeah. So then you don't pay for it unless you use it, which would be really nice for somebody that is doing a temporary project like a fix and flip, or just needing money temporarily, then they still have the line available when they're done. So I'm glad we talked about that because that's 100% unique in the marketplace. I'm not aware of any other place that does that. I know the big banks are not really friendly to that, and that's great. Now, what about a first-time buyer? Is there anything that a first-time buyer can get with you folks?
Definitely. So Trustone is one of the preferred lenders of Minnesota Housing, which is our state-run housing agency here, which has a couple different options for first-time home buyers in the essence of down payment assistance loans, where they can get up to $18,000 to use towards down payment and closing costs. So Trustone's a preferred lender with them. We are all set up with Minnesota Housing, so that's a seamless process for us. We do have a couple other programs that are out there too for first-time home buyers that makes things a little bit more attractive, with better interest rates and lower mortgage insurance. So we have some awesome options out there. The other thing with us being a credit union, we're nonprofit, so our rates and fees are going to be less than most of the marketplace. The big thing for us is having people become members and then trying to offer them all the other different products that we have. So savings rates, auto loans, credit cards. We really try to keep it in-house and be a full service lender for all of our members.
That's great. That's great. I know from my own personal experience, I'm a member of a credit union. I probably have to join yours now after this video, but I'm a member of one and I got my car loan from them versus a bank, and it was significantly better rate. And so I always tell people go to a credit union. Well, now we have a friend in the business, Matt,
That,
with the credit union. So
I'd say if you have a credit union that you like, that you work with, finding a member there, excuse me, a contact at a credit union you trust, you can call anytime they'll answer, is going to really be beneficial because credit unions usually are going to be a little bit more price friendly to the members on the cost of rates and fees. But just making sure you find someone who works for you, is available, and can help answer all the questions.
now, if somebody did want to get, let's say, an auto loan, which I know we're talking about mortgage today, but would they just walk into the bank, or would they, or credit, or the branch is what I wanted to say, or would they contact you and you'd make a referral, or what is the preferred route if somebody is watching this and they say, you know what, I do like the idea of establishing a relationship with the credit union, and I might have a need maybe for a different product to start with, and then maybe down the road I might have a need for a mortgage, like the folks that we just did that purchase with. They were, I think, 30-year members of Trustone. And the reason that they selected Trustone is because they had that comfort. And yet they weren't in the market for 30 years for a mortgage, but they weren't going anywhere else. So I think establishing that relationship is important. So how would somebody go about that? And would you want that call, or how would you direct somebody that way?
Definitely, my phone is always open, so anyone can call me at any time. For you're right, auto loans, I have a personal banker I work with. It's phenomenal, and she can handle auto loans. But let's say someone prefers to go into a branch, there's one close to them. They could walk into any of our branches while we're open and go talk to someone. Otherwise, I'm always available, and I'm more than glad to make the right connection for any referral for someone at Trustone.
That's wonderful. So you'd be a resource as a director, whether you help them directly or you help connect them. Um, So somebody watching this right now may say, how in the heck do I get in touch with Matt? I like that guy. I want to work with him. How can they reach you,
I'm easy. I'm a millennial. My phone's glued to my hand.
Matt?
Cell phone number is 262-930-6310. I'll send you all my contact information for you to put in the body of the video, but I'm available whenever. I know a lot of credit unions are kind of constricted with a 9 to 5. I understand the importance of what goes into buying a home, the lending process. A lot of people are looking for things after their job. So being available after 5 o'clock on weekends is a big part of what I think really drives a relationship. So I'm open whenever. People are always welcome to call, email, text. We have a 1.5-year-old son at home too, and sometimes he doesn't like to sleep at night. So I'm used to being up at all hours.
Yep, I remember those days. I'm kind of at the tail end of that, but yeah, I remember those days. Well, that's fantastic, Matt. I hope everybody watching will call you. Uh, Matt was wonderful to work with. My own personal endorsement, having, a very smooth transaction with people that were very nervous because they hadn't done this for 30 years and they had a lot of comfort working with the credit union and it was seamless. We worked with two people, one on the bridge, and then then the two of them worked together. It was easy. So I wish every transaction was as easy. Uh, the other thing is with regards to some things that Matt mentioned, like investment property, loans or lines of credit, good luck with that. You're not going to get that at the large banks. I'm telling you that right now. The other thing that you're not going to get necessarily is at a different credit union, the access to the MHFA product. And again, there's a very large bank that has now exited, I don't know if permanently, but at least for this next year, their ability to do MHFA loans because they just don't want to do them anymore. So if you don't talk to the right people, you won't find out about the right programs. I like to think of myself as a quarterback. I'm kind of directing, and with my channel, I like to bring on experts and new things to help you, the consumer, get what you need. I've been doing this 37 years, sold over 1,200 homes. I would like to help you purchase a home or investment property in the future. Um, but again, we're a la carte. So if you have another agent, that's fine. You can still work with Matt. Um, if you have another lender, you can still work with me. But we'd like to work together with you as a team. But we are a la carte. Our contact information is available in the body down below. Feel free to reach out to either one of us. We would love to help and be a resource. Even if we can't directly help you, we're going to refer you to where you can get what you need. Thank you for watching today. Matt, any final words that you'd like to say to the public?
I'd like to say thank you to you again. Thanks for having me on. And just to touch base on that transaction, it was extremely smooth. I highly recommend John. It was phenomenal. So if we're looking for a champion to work for you for buying or selling, John's definitely a professional who could help out.
Appreciate that, Matt. Thank you very much. Have a
Thank you.
great day, everybody.